Hello, EdD colleagues. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rebecca Zambrano. I'm the Director of Online Faculty Development at Edgewood College since 2011. Before that, I was teaching in the School of Education and directing a grant program that designed blended learning experiences for ESL bilingual teachers around the state of Wisconsin. So I am pleased to be introducing this concept. You may already know about this, but I'd like to introduce the concept of social presence in online courses through the lens of the different kinds of feedback that we can give to our students that demonstrates social presence. Social presence, I think, is easiest to define by talking about what it would mean to me as a very, very busy adult learner in a higher degree program like the EdD program. So it means to me, first of all, with this affective association, that I have a sense that the instructor cares about my well-being and my growth, my learning in the course. The community cohesion is the sense that there's some kind of community connection to what I'm doing. And sometimes for adult learners, this can be community cohesion inside of the course, or it can be things that the course is sending me out in the world to do that are increasing my sense of efficacy and cohesion in the communities that I'm working in every day. The interaction intensity refers to the sense that there is some level of lively interaction, either between me and the instructor, or me and my peers in the course, or me and that community out in the world that I just spoke about. There needs to be a sense that the instructor has knowledge and experience that's valuable to my learning. And for adult learners, I'm imagining in an EdD program like this one, that's going to mean that the instructor and the course bring value to what I am doing in my roles each day. We know that a lot of EdD students are doing the work in these courses at midnight on Sunday night. So there needs to be a sort of efficiency and very direct relevance to what folks are doing wherever possible. I know that some of the things that people learn are for future roles as well. And then instructor investment. This is critical, especially online. Many students perceive instructors as people who maybe developed the course and then just left it alone, and now students are supposed to teach themselves. That can really rub adult learners the wrong way because they want to have a sense that the instructor is invested in their learning, in their individual learning, as well as in the group learning in the course. So all of these elements of social presence have been shown very clearly by research to have a huge impact on both students' perceived learning in the course, on the actual learning outcomes that are achieved in an online course by adult learners, and also in students' enjoyment of the learning experience and their likelihood of recommending the program to other people in the future. So some of the motivators for adult learners that are really common are the sense of competence that I just mentioned. So this sense that I'm learning something that I can take out and have, and it's going to be very relevant to what I'm doing day to day. Another is a sense of this is building my embeddedness, my relationships. And for adult learners, often that's work relationships or networking, my sense that I am finding peers who give me more value, make me more valuable in the work that I do, because so many people coming for an EdD are people who want to either move into new roles or really deepen their capacity to do good work in the work world that they're in. Then autonomy is this sense that I have some control in the learning process. I have some freedom to choose topics and choose some of the ways that I'm going to engage with others, represent the knowledge that I'm gaining to others, and also perhaps receive information. So remember those three UDL concepts: multiple means of representation, engagement, um, and expression. So building competence and relationship, this strategy, this feedback strategy does both at once often. When you have students in a discussion forum, one choice that you can make as an instructor if you wish, or you can assign students to do this, is to put them into small groups in the discussion, give them a topic that's extremely relevant to them. It could be posed as a problem solution or creative experiment to solve a problem or issue in the question prompt. And then as they develop their discussion posts and threads, you can actually become the synthesizer. So you can take what they've written, or again, ask them to do so, take what they've written and put it into a chart. Take it out of the discussion forum and paste it into a chart in the form of a problem or a question that was raised and how some different people in the discussion forum responded to that problem or question. This is just a snapshot of part of such a chart. If you were able to scroll down here, you would see lots of other questions and problems posed by different members of that discussion group, and solutions and experiments that were offered to one another. So if you synthesize a discussion forum in this way, you can just imagine it takes that what can feel like chaos or threads that are going in so many different directions in a discussion forum. It can take that and it can just capture it in a visually accessible format that makes it really simple for people to see the problems, apply the ideas in their workplace where they make sense, and maybe even hold on to the document for future use. So you're creating a resource that's useful to everyone. And then you don't have to go in and grade each individual person's discussion participation, except on whether or not they really engaged fully. So you can do a really simple individual post thanking them for their level of engagement, and then link in this document that you've created for everyone's use. This I touched on earlier. What does community mean to adult learners in our courses? I think this is a critical question in an EdD program. The community often means where I'm out in the world working, or where I want to be out in the world working, maybe with internships and things like this. So community doesn't have to happen inside of every online course. Some of you teach research courses, and you might have students give peer feedback on portions of research as they go through the course, and that's really helpful, especially to those who are trying to network within the course. But for many of the students, they're going to respond more to opportunities to get feedback from others outside of the course. So if you're assigning them going and finding a colleague or a potential mentor and giving them some ideas where they can go and find that person, and sitting down and asking that person for feedback on some aspect of their research, you're really building the community that they're going to be living in after they're done with the EdD program. And many online students appreciate those kinds of experiences. Varying the media that we use for feedback is essential. So we talked about UDL, giving video feedback, giving audio feedback, giving chart synthesis kinds of feedback like what I showed you, maybe even a mind map. Doing some creative kinds of feedback can be really helpful. And again, involving students in co-creating that type of feedback can take some of that burden off your workload. Providing media-rich feedback, I just mentioned, is very appreciated. If you can show students their work on a screen, highlight what you're discussing, use the cursor like I'm doing in Screencast-O-Matic to underline or circle things that you're talking about, that can be really helpful. Or it can be distracting if you just do it the wrong way like I just did. So provide voice or video feedback whenever possible. Using web meetings for mentoring can be a really powerful tool. Julie Dunbar just did some research where she talked with a lot of adult learners about their most transformative experiences at Edgewood College, and some of them talked about their EdD program experiences, and a theme that came up really clearly was students who received a webinar meeting to discuss one-on-one with their professor what they were working on. Even if the professor only did that web meeting once or twice each semester with each student, that made an impact. But especially when that instructor was able to do that every other week, if say they had a smaller group of students, they could even replace some online discussion with those kinds of interaction, and students felt that was incredibly valuable because again, that made the professor into a mentor and a consultant, which is what so many people are looking for as adult learners in professional programs. Some adult learners really respond well to hearing how their quotes, their thoughts impacted other people in the online learning community. So you can put an appreciations wiki, one-page wiki, or an appreciations Padlet in the course and ask them to bring a couple of quotes back from students in the discussion forum the previous week and paste those quotes with an appreciation, one sentence, into that word wall. It's a simple thing to do. It will take them 10 minutes, but they'll go back and they'll see what comments they made or what creative ideas they brought forth in the discussion that impacted their peers. That really creates trust and motivation for a lot of adult learners. You can also ask students to give peer feedback on portions of, say, a capstone project or their dissertation. And especially if you guide them, give them really clear guidance about what kind of feedback, like Suzanne did in the other video for you, you can have them in groups of just 2 or 3 really give each other in-depth feedback on portions of their work before you even get to it. And that can also help you with your workload. Keeping that door open by having office hours, online office hours in WebEx, or offering students a phone call check-in, even a 10-minute phone call check-in. They know you're busy. But keeping that door open so that you know what kinds of lingering questions students have can be really helpful. It'll also help you discover themes of confusion that might be arising, and then you can address them just with one email to everyone in the course. Inviting students to pay attention to their own thinking over time can help them realize that they actually are really deepening their learning. And there are simple ways that you can do this. You can teach them to copy and paste what they've written about a core question in your course 1 week into a word cloud, and then copy and paste it into a word cloud again the very next week when they have a whole lot more knowledge of the topic, so that they're getting their own sort of pre and post snapshot. This is what that looks like. This is from Amy Dragoo in the School of Business a while back. This was showing group learning from a discussion forum over time. She copied and pasted comments about their perceptions of homelessness before they did this unit, and then after the next week, the comments looked like this. So very, very different kind of understanding showing up, and then that allowed them to reflect on how their perceptions had changed over time. Seeding feedback to individual students in the form of resources is something that I want to emphasize to EdD faculty especially. Your courses often have such a huge volume of information that, quite frankly, your students aren't reading it. They're not covering the breadth of information that you're providing. One thing I've discovered is if I send individual students via email a resource that's important to me that they read, but I connect it in some way to an interest they've shown in the discussion forum, they really appreciate it. They feel seen and acknowledged by me, and they're much more likely to read and delve into that resource. providing models or examples of previous student work or interviews with previous students about how best to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity is my final offering for this video. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if it brings up questions. I'm trying very hard to keep this to 15 minutes to be respectful of your time. So let me know if any of this brings up questions. Thank you so much.